Earlier this year, I made a short video about using one-finger death punch to get accustomed to using the touchpads as buttons. In that same vein, I would like to showcase another indie title with the purpose of playing it to get familiar with the control type, but also because I enjoy giving these smaller games a little promotion. In this video, we'll look at Uppercut Games' 2014 game, Epoch, a cover shooter that takes more inspiration from light gun games than from modern stop-and-pop titles, and we'll be using this game as a practice arena for gyro aiming. This game is light on controls, which is going to help focus on the aiming. Whereas a more traditional cover shooter would have you worrying about getting to the cover and watching your flanks, Epoch reduces it all down to a single screen with set points to move between. In most levels, you have 3 points of cover: left, middle, and right, and you transition between them by simply pressing left or right. Aside from that, you can stand up to shoot or crouch down to take cover, and that's about it. You have a few abilities on cooldown like missiles and power-ups, but the core aspect of the game is hiding to avoid damage and shooting when it's clear. Even better is that aiming is rather generous in this game, and enemy models are a bit larger than most shooters. All of this makes it a fantastic game for first-time gyro aim users, especially those who are having a difficult time using that in traditional shooter games. So let's get to the config. There aren't too many buttons, so set these up however you want. I put WASD on the touchpad to mimic traditional movement bindings, and my offensive combat actions are all on the top of the controller. Reload is on right grip where I like it, and my power-up, called countermeasures, is on right pad click. But this is the important part. Set your gyro to use the mouse input style, but don't assign the mouse to the right pad. We are here to practice gyro aiming. You can mess with whatever settings you like for the gyro, but don't bind the mouse anywhere else. I used the right pad touch to activate the gyro so that I could lift my thumb to reset my hand. For DualShock 4 and Switch Pro users, you could use a face button or trigger. You could also try always on, but you'll want to use a higher sensitivity so that you never need to reset your hands, arms, or wrists. The rest of the settings can be tweaked to your preference. I prefer a much lower smoothing value and a little bit of MMT. If you don't have a preference, then I highly suggest starting with the stock settings and figuring out what you don't like and adjusting it one setting at a time. If you need help with any of the settings, be sure to check out my Steam Input Essentials video about the mouse input style, where I break down each setting, what it does, and when to adjust it. There are timestamps in the description of that video for finding specific settings. And there you go. Epoch is on sale for just $1 for the next 3 days, so what do you have to lose? Grab it, head into the wasteland, and start taking out those robots with your gyrometer. The game is only about an hour or two long, but the additional difficulty levels will give you a few hours worth of practice. Easy is a bit too forgiving, which actually works in our favor, acting as a set of training wheels and allows us to build a foundation. Normal and hard will be the places where you really build muscle memory and get comfortable with gyro aiming. After that, I recommend you move on to a more traditional shooter so that you can begin to incorporate the right pad. Unless you're really enjoying this game, then try to take on Ultra difficulty. It's a bit masochistic and has some ridiculous enemy speed and damage modifiers that are super frustrating. It's doable. I've 100%ed this game, but be prepared to see a lot of this.